Alright, so this is Tuesday, day 15. Day 14 was a midterm test, so we don't have any content to post for day 14. And can you believe it? Yeah, you can. Week number 9. CIS midterm, cover more of that on Thursday. Questions on part 1. Part 2 we did at the end of class. We talked again about programming design, and we'll talk about that a little more. And we covered arrays, subscripted variables. I said they could use those now in the design from the midterm, and we talked about list from Python. So here. We have already talked about top-down design, and today we talked a little bit about bottom-up, doing a sprint. This is where you create like a prototype. I like using that word. A prototype allows you to build something quick, so you build some code quick, and then you just keep improving it. So you get a design done quickly, and then build it from the bottom up. Okay? Rather than spending a lot of time doing this on the front end. This is really important, though, if you're designing software where it's flying an airplane, or you're designing software for a subway system, or something large where you can't afford to have mistakes or problems with it. Yeah, you got to do a top-down design with big, complex software. But a lot of stuff we're doing, this is going to work really well. And the idea of a sprint is kind of what I explained there. We're going to talk a little more about that on Thursday. We looked at the concert example, and I asked them, how would you find the highest age? Well, you could, every time you go through the loop, you could have a holder, and then you could compare the holder with the new value, and if the new value was bigger, you could put that into the holder. Pretty cool. But we're going to find that we can build a data structure and just look for the max in the data structure. The data structure we're going to use are called arrays. In Python, we're going to use the term list, and then there's a couple other things we'll use too, definition and tuples or tables. But anyway, arrays, you can have a subscript. Subscript 0 references the first thing in the array, subscript 1, second item, 2, the third item, and this is the name of the array, male ages. And so we looked at a way to fill these. Okay, we put the first age there, second one there, third one there, and we have pretty much limited only by memory and a few other things, so we can put a large number of things in the array, and then we can just ask for the maximum value in the array. And we can reference, using these subscripts, any one thing in the array. And you'll also find we can sort the array, and so forth. Okay, so we use an example. We want to keep track of ages. We want to find the max age. We put the ages into a list by using append. Okay, using the append command. And we built this array of ages. Actually, this, it's an array of ages, but in Python, they call it a list. So we built that. And let me finish up with this. In the group 10 directory, you'll see a program, a recent one. You can look at the dates. I think I called it A0-2 or something, then my initials. That has the code that we use to do this particular problem. So if you weren't here and you didn't get a chance to do that, that'd be a great place to go look at that code and yeah, see how that works. Okay. Also in a byte of Python. A byte of Python has information about lists. Whoops. Next thing, we took a picture of some of these items on the board. I'm just going to make a couple general comments. These are for the good of the students. This is that midterm project. I guess the only thing I'll mention here was this could be moved possibly right out here, so it only occurs once, and you could get the same thing done. You'll notice they have an A here, goes to the A, we got a B, goes to B. This is legal in flowcharting. Alright, so this is a good example. One of the group, I think I've got a couple examples. Same thing, I would move these inputs, I would put them right here, which would be fine. So you could, here they're going to input the gender, check to see, you know, are we done or not? If not, then we go in and check if it's male, do the male work over here. If not, they do the female work here, bring it back together. Up here, you know, it's the connectors right by the while statement. Then when this is done, when that's false, then it heads down and it does the finish up work, and we stop. Same kind of thing. The only thing is here they used an else if, which is okay. And I took a couple pictures of this, so this one wasn't quite complete, but it's the same idea. They initialized, they input, checked on that, then they input it again, then checked if it's male, do the male work here. If it's female, if it's not male, then they check to make sure it's female, and if not, they just skipped over the work. Okay? And this was an example of how to loop those together from the last project. Right? Bring those together there, bring this if together here. It gets a little more dicey with the else if. Okay. The syntax for that in Python is a little different, but the else if makes it look more like a case structure. But we can talk about that in class some more. Alright, and so this was the whole thing. And so if we were going to track down through this, they initialize, they input a value, check that value. They should have the words true and false there, right? And then you go here, you go in, if this is true, they go do these two. If it's not, they go do these two. If it's neither one, it just skips over them. Come down here, input the new gender, and we go back up right above the if, check the gender. If it's a legal gender, male or female, then we go in here and input the age and do the work, and then when we enter the flag, we finish up the work here. This one looks good too. And that's it. The other group, theirs was stored electronically, so we can take a look at that Thursday in class. Alright, we're done.